Hello, you lovely people, and welcome to another episode of Tangential Recreation here on the Geek Planet Online channel. I am, of course, Matt Dillon, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Richard Cobbett.
Hello!
Hello! And this is our second attempt at this, as there were horrible technical difficulties, so it's late on a Sunday night. So you'll forgive us if we're a little tired. I feel like I've already explained this because I have, but the video doesn't survive. So
You're making it sound really spontaneous, though. It's working.
yes, it's all totes and for real spontaneous and ting. Right, so there's been a little bit of a format tweak here at Tangential Recreation Towers, as we want to bring ourselves more in line with the new format for the Tangential Deviation podcast, which of course is what this is spun off from. So there will now be a timer. We hit the timer for 60 minutes. We have a starting topic. We let the conversation drift. Knowing us, it will be mostly video games related, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. We can drift away from that. We will just let the conversation take us where it may, as Tangential Deviation does. And then once the buzzer goes off, that's where we end. And in our next episode, we will pick up with the same starting topic as we had ended on the previous time. Hopefully with having had some time to think about it and think of something witty and oh so clever to say, or something. So,
Hegelian dialectics.
Look, TLDR, me and Rich are going to talk bollocks over a game. Is that all right? Yeah, in that sense, nothing's really changed. So, we've got 60 minutes on the clock. The game we are playing is Doom, the original, you might say. Well, you should say.
Yet the ultimate.
And yet the ultimate Doom, in fact, which actually was less hassle to get running over multiplayer over the internet than Star Wars Battlefront 2 was in an aborted video I did with Lee Metcalf. In fact, we never got that running at all, but Doom pretty much ran first time, so just saying. Right, the timer is away. We've got an hour, and our starting topic is based on a sarcastic comment I made on Facebook and that Rich chimed in on.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. Oh look, there's a shotgun. That's not the DLC. Oh, stand back. It is potential DLC for old games, because I suddenly had a horrific thought that what with the release of the impending making of, or whatever, of the Final Fantasy VII remake, there's going to be DLC, isn't there? There's going to be a resurrection pack. Get that fanboy ending that you always wanted.
I'm really thrilled. I really want to kind of be able to bring Vincent back from the dead.
There's a button here. I'm not entirely sure what it's done.
Which button?
Here.
Oh, it opens
side of the stairs. Or did it
opens one of many secrets. It's actually one of my favourite things about E1M1, in that for a starting level, it's actually really packed with cool stuff. I'm very fond. I'm just going to go over to this window here. So I remember when I first played Doom, and the fact that you start off next to this window and you look out and it just screams, "This is different." It's like having played, Wolfenstein 3D.
There's a big bloody gun in there.
Yes, a rocket launcher, and I'm going to go and get it. Ratio. Having played...
I thought I could jump out the window. Yes, this is running on...
Cheaters will not prosper.
Huh. So, yes, this is running on Z-Doom, or Z-Doom, for anyone that's interested, which adds a couple of features such as mouse loop, joypad support, and jumping!
But jumping is only for cheaters. Which difficulty mode are we playing?
I think it's the default, which is normal.
Oh,
which I think has hurt me plenty.
Ah.
Well, you call me a wuss, but that's just what happens if you don't do any other options.
So how long has it been since you played Doom?
20 years?
Was it? That's interesting. I think this is the multiplayer. I think it's the multiplayer version of the map.
It is the multiplayer version.
They're sure as hell's in the chainsaw there in the original.
Oh, you found a chainsaw?
Sorry, chain gun. Sorry. Ooh.
And there goes Richard, killing everything before I get a chance. Die!
I love Doom back in the day, just as much as people like Final Fantasy VII.
Well, yes, indeed.
Segueing back into
segueing back to the conversation. Yes, well, there is bound to be DLC because, of course, there is. I mean, when they did the so-called HD re-release. Yeah, stop that. Let me out of the door, Cobbit. Yep. When they did the so-called HD re-release, which was nothing of the fucking sort.
Yes, the PC version only slightly less buggy, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it was. And what really pissed me off was they hadn't even bothered. Like, I actually bought it because I think it was on an introductory offer for a £5, something like that. So I picked it up straight, direct from Squenix, from their store. So it comes in a little installable, which is in no way, shape or form DRM free, I might add.
Where's the secret thing in here? There it is.
Oh, Christ. There's lots of things trying to kill me! Don't like it, Mr. Frodo! Yeah, I picked that up back in the day, and I was hoping that at the very least they'd resampled the FMV. Because the PC original, as you probably remember yourself...
Oh, it's ghastly.
It was ghastly, because all they'd done is literally ripped the SDTV video, formatted video. Crikey.
There was literally nothing good about the PC version in that it looked terrible.
I did play it all of the way through.
Oh, I did as well. I didn't have a PlayStation. That's the only way I've played through Final Fantasy VII. And it was just that wonderful mix of tremendous bugginess, ugly graphics, the way that it would cut from the in-game footage to those awful FMVs.
Awful pixelated FMVs. And on the original PlayStation version, they segued perfectly because it was all at the same resolution. But on the PC, not so much.
No, it's quite tragic that I played both 7 and 8 on PC, and kind of 8 is already kind of has a fair hill to climb to be fun. But 7 was just like, this cannot be the game that everyone's obsessed about.
Yeah, well, quite. I know a lot of people that were disappointed because PlayStation fans had raved about it. But yeah, I mean, so I bought it hoping that they'd resampled the source FMVs. Because, I mean, there were plenty of user-based mods. Fan-created mods, I should say. Oh, boink. That, you know, sort of upped the resolution count. I mean, there was a mod that I installed on the original PC version a good few years after it was released, which replaced the overworld models with... Was that you, or was that a monster?
Oh, that was me running past. I just got the blue key.
Oh, I don't, but as long as you've got it, I suppose that's the thing.
I'll just go back there. I've defused the trap for you.
You do, but there was a monster. I did see a monster. And you've missed. There you go.
But aren't humans the real monsters?
Oh,
no, they're the imps and demons.
Yeah, I would say so. In the context of Doom, anyway. Yeah, that replaced the overworld models, so the models you see running around the maps and whatnot, interacting with people, with the battle models, so fully proportioned, which looked better, a lot better. Except none of the other characters had battle models, of course, so everything else was in the standard super deformed, lower res lower res models, and looked appalling. Oops. Avon calling! And yeah, and it was atrocious. So I bought the re-release, hoping they'd resampled everything, so at least it looked better. Because, of course, at that point, I'd sort of decided we're never getting a remake, so this is as nice as it's ever going to look. And also because they, obviously not Square Enix, but such a good job had been done in general with the HD re-release of Another World, with the upscaling and everything, I was hoping for at least almost as good results, you know?
So I think probably the thing I'm most excited about Final Fantasy VII is I've got no interest in playing through it again, as is. But I quite like the fact they're saying outright, we are going to be making changes. We're adding some stuff. We're taking some stuff out. We're tweaking some other stuff, and that actually makes me more interested. Just if they can cut out a lot of the kind of the JRPG craft, and by that I mean
they won't, because that's what people want.
It might be, but on the other hand, it's also what's incredibly expensive to make. So hopefully, in this one case, budget will be our friend.
We're talking about the guys that made Advent Children that bankrupt their film division.
But that's the thing, they've been bankrupted, so now they may not have a choice. No, I think...
So what you're saying is you have faith that Square Enix won't do anything stupid?
Oh, no, I didn't say that. I just said they might not be able to afford to do that specific stupid thing. I'm half expecting that when you get the infamous scene, this time it will turn out that Sephiroth jumps down and kills Cloud, and then Yuffie will take over as the main character.
Die in a fire. I'm just not even joking, Rich. Not even joking.
It'd be fantastic. You'd play through the entire game. You'd have all of the materia. But I think a lot of the time it is just... I think Final Fantasy VII is really good until you leave Midgard. And then it kind of has that sort of tendency to become, the typical JRPG. We have to fill 50 hours of this. And I think then obviously you get the individual bits which are quite cool, like the live stream and obviously Gold Saucer. And by the way, if you haven't tried Final Fantasy 14, the newish MMO, their version of Gold Saucer is brilliant.
I haven't tried the MMO because I did try for about an evening. That's what this suit is for.
So running around through green goo.
I found a secret. And got a rocket launcher. So I've got that going for me, which is nice.
No, I played 14 for quite a bit because I reviewed it at the time. And obviously, I went back to try Gold Source later on, and they've just done a really good job. It's the kind of expansion that most developers would sort of save for the expansion. It's like there's one actually coming called Heavensward, and it's literally like new levels, new jobs, and you could just see them saying "and visit Gold Saucer." But no, it was a free update to the standard game. And you've got to get to about level 15, 20, something like that to play, which does take a while. But basically, other than that, it's completely open. So you can go there, you can play Triple Triad, which obviously is opened up around the world. You've got Chocobo Racing, you've got some sort of basic mini-games, you've got some group stuff. And it's probably one of the best things that's ever been added to an MMO. It's just, you could have half-assed this, and you full-assed it. It's really good.
As MMOs go?
As MMOs go, it's interesting. I described this at the time, and I kind of stand by this, as it seems to have been made by a team with, say, 20% people who really love MMOs, and 80% who've never even heard of them. And so it's full of simultaneously really good ideas and really strange stuff that you can't believe anybody would actually do. A good example being that at launch, there was no timeout on your characters. If you kind of leave the game running and you go off and go to dinner or something, your character would never log out. And because it was really hard to get on, because the servers were new and everyone was trying to get onto them, that meant that people would log on. They would just stand there. They'd go to work, they'd come back and have their characters still standing around. And it's the kind of mistake that you just can't believe somebody would make anymore. Or you have, really long, really good quests, and you go around being, the great hero of your nation who goes on exciting ambassadorial duties. But
sorry. An imp just made me jump.
But then you also get stuff where literally there's a quest and someone will go, can you go and get me some orange juice? Quest accepted! And then, of course, you bring them to it's like, quest complete, fireworks. And, I appreciate the attempt, but you're not going to make me feel badass about going to get orange juice.
No, not at all.
But it's interesting. It's not amazing, but it's definitely worth a look, if not necessarily the cash. The next time they do a free weekend or something like that. Certainly the main campaign is much more like a Final Fantasy than it is an MMO, at least when it gets sort of started for real.
Yeah, I mean, part of the thing that worries me about the remake is that it's not like the last few Final Fantasy games have been totally awesome.
Give them an inch and they'll put lightning into it.
Well, actually, yes. See, we started off sort of jokily talking about shitty potential DLC for Final Fantasy VII, but yes, actually, they've stuck lightning in everything else.
Oh, she's in Final Fantasy 14 as well. Shortly after it launched, they kind of did a whole big thing. The gimmick was, lightning is coming to Final Fantasy 14. It's like, you can meet lightning, you can get lightning's hat or whatever. I forget the exact details, but it didn't exactly win me over as a concept. We're kind of at the point of doom now where I've forgotten how the levels go.
I've never. Whoa! Hello. Come on.
And in fact, even if you go to Gold Saucer in the new one, one of the triple triac cards, at least when they launch it, one of the more expensive ones, is of course lightning. And it's just lightning's not happening, guys. Stop trying to make lightning happen.
I fell into some goo. Almost did a die.
Such is life.
Don't talk to me about life. There was a spectral thing, was there? There's a sort of translucent corpse dead on the ground.
Playing through Doom again. So I've always loved Doom. I remember absolutely adoring it when it first came out. And
I am lost. I am so lost.
Don't worry, I'm almost at the exit, I think. I'm just playing it now. It's just a reminder of just how good the level design is. Oops, I think I might be about to die horribly. Nope, help that. The level design, I think above all else, the monster design. And everything is just this sort of wonderful, iconic nature to it. And I love the fact there's all these colours, there's all these sort of different variations. And then looking at the Doom, technically Doom 4, but they're just calling it Doom. Footage from E3. It's like, where are the colours? It's so much more interesting when the imps are these sort of brightly lit brown things, and you got the bright pink demons and cyber demons looking cartoony and awesome.
Yeah. I'm now bleeding from my eyes, like you did in that video that time.
That was a very painful shoot to do. It is surprisingly hard. This is my sort of top special effects tip, where special has 2 apostrophes on either side. It's very, very hard to be shooting a video and then to leave your camera still running. And I shoot my videos with a DSLR, so I've only got like a 20-minute runtime for any individual shot. To run to the bathroom, to take a comprehensive mix of flour and red dye, which you then drip around and into your eyes so that it kind of looks like your eyes are sort of bleeding horribly, and then completely blinded, get back to your seat, sit while you're still in focus, and deliver a joke. I do not recommend it. It stung like an MF, which I will say because I'm far too polite to say motherfucker.
Top tip. Important safety tip. Thanks, Igor.
Don't cross the streams or fill your eyes with flour.
Which, his famous catchphrase there. Am I going the right way? Oh, there's lots of things to kill here.
Yeah, I hate this level. Technically, the layout's not that bad, but I always get lost in it at some point. And I think that point might be here. It's when it starts giving you the rooms which look identical, in kind of like lots and lots of cross-shaped things.
Welcome to my world.
This is the part. This is the part in the video, of course, where everyone is swearing and complaining. It's like, you idiots, go left, go left, go left.
I regret
I'm
nothing.
Sorry, but I'm still better at Mortal Kombat than you are, probably.
Nobody is better at Mortal Kombat than us, except everybody.
Hey, I can punch and I can kick. That's the basics down.
That's both of the special moves there.
One day I'm hoping to advance to throws. But I will give Doom, one bit of credit. This is the new version, not this one, which obviously is great. Which is that I do love the idea of people being able to make their own levels just by sort of sticking bits together. And I'm really hoping that it's as advanced as it deserves to be. Oh god, I'm in the maze part of this again.
I remember there being some great level editors back in the day. And I remember, I was never I was never much good at it insofar as I was never like super awesome, but I was competent enough that I could make a level work ish. So I remember playing about and making sort of my first ever sort of experiences of modding were making levels for Doom. I forget the name of the editor. But
that was the Dromed, was it Doomed?
Doomed, I think probably. Was that a WYSIWYG one?
Yeah, I think so. I think DU was the more complicated one, and then there were like a few other ones in sort of between them.
And which one had a thing called Hammer?
Hammer, that's Steam, isn't it?
Have you found? Ah, hello.
Oh, do you need me to open the door?
I now know what that radiation suit that I nicked was for. You've unlocked a door. Oh well, time to burn.
Oops, that's the wrong exit.
Oh, I'm not doing so well.
No, I think one of the things about Doom, which I think never gets enough credit, is just how good the level design is. And it's not just in sort of terms like how they are as playable spaces, although I mean they are really good for that. But it's, if you're looking through this level, for instance, this whole episode, it's that slow. It's the fact that everything feels, by the standards of obviously the Doom engine, like a relatively plausible place. In that, I mean, obviously it's by modern standards it's a cartoon, but you have, when you kind of go into an area called Phobos Lab or whatever, yeah, it feels a bit like a lab. You've got the hangar and sort of the entryway, feels good.
I seem to be trapped.
It's okay, I think I'm nearly at the exit switch, so we shouldn't be here for much longer.
Yay, that makes me feel better. No, it doesn't.
1 second, I'm just destroying a few things. And then also you go on to the other two maps. I really like how this one sort of slowly starts moving to the like the hellish sort of textures by the time you get to the end. That sort of sense of a world being taken over.
I am literally trapped. This is ridiculous.
Are you trapped behind doors?
Oh wait, hang on. I bet that's a secret. That's a secret door. No, I'm sort of trapped in...
Oh, crap. Died.
Yes! Found my way out. I'll just follow the trail of bodies to wherever you've gone.
I'm having to come back from the start, unfortunately. I just died, so I wasn't paying attention. No, and then the thing, suddenly you get to part 3, and it has some just wonderful gimmicks. So do you remember the level The Warrens? I can still say, because I know for a fact we're not going to get there. It's basically the first level of episode 3, just straight up remade. And so you wander around this, and it's all very familiar, and you're kind of going, oh, okay, well, we've sort of been here, done this. Except that when you hit the exit button at the end of it, all the walls suddenly fall down, and there's like incredibly tough monsters behind them. And you've got to retread your way back again to actually find the exit switch. Speaking of which, where the hell is the exit switch?
Lost Matt is lost. Have you found the yellow key?
Yes, I've got all 3 keys.
Oh, good. Care to tell me where the red one is?
In my pocket. But it's also probably sitting around somewhere.
Thanks, Rich.
You're welcome.
You're my favourite person.
I cannot remember. Where haven't we been?
Well, where have I been?
Oh, I remember. Yes, it's through here.
It's alright, I'll find it. It's there. You'll get to the end before I find out what's going on. No, this one needs the yellow key. Oh, keys in FPSs, I've not missed you.
Well, you mean you prefer it when somebody else has to come and open the door for you? Speaking of which, I just came and opened the door for you. Boom!
Oh well. Yeah, you got 70%, I got 11%. I think that...
I just have the skills.
Yeah, let's call it that.
No, I'm... Just going back and just thinking about how much I played Doom back at the time, and just that when you buy a magazine, and they could actually get away with like a cover feature like 1,000 Doom levels on this disc. Oh
yeah, because
and of course never vetted. One of my favourite ones was, I think it was PC Zone. It was probably PC Zone, but hopefully its spirit won't haunt me if I got that wrong. Which got pulled from John Menzies at least. because they accidentally put on one of those ones where someone replaced all of the wall textures with, nipples and things like that. The least sexy nude mod in the history of the world, doing it for the walls, but never mind.
Do you know what? I wasn't thinking. When I said before the level editor was called Hammer, it wasn't Hammer, it was Worldcraft.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
And that was a third-party thing, wasn't it? But it would work on a couple of different games. I think I did it for Duke Nukem. Definitely for Quake. I'm sure that was Worldcraft.
Worldcraft was definitely for Quake, and probably for like the 3 people who really wanted to edit Hexen. Hexen 2, anyway.
So you and...
Oh, don't include me in that list. Oops, there you are.
You're not like Hexen, Rich?
Sorry, I never liked Hexen, no. I liked his ideas, but the actual game I think is pretty mediocre.
Well, I know what we're playing next then.
Torchlight.
Yeah, this is true. The failed video, as aforementioned, was on Torchlight.
So, another thing which we mentioned in the unmentioned video is, what games are we looking forward to? And since I started last time, Matt, what games are you looking forward to?
Well, I hear they're doing a remake of Final Fantasy VII, and
shit.
Right, I've just got a yellow key. I've got to find the yellow door. I'm obviously very much looking forward to Fallout 4, as you and I discussed on our last episode.
Have you actually started playing New Vegas yet?
Yes, I have, and I'm really enjoying it. It's hello, baddies. I shoot you in the ass. What I really like about it. And I can see why a lot of people, when it was first released, didn't get on with it. In the same manner that, as a sort of sidebar, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I didn't get on with Final Fantasy VIII when it first came out.
Well, most people didn't. So.
Because I lived and breathed Final Fantasy VII for the longest time. And then along comes this thing that isn't a sequel to Final Fantasy VII. I mean, how bloody dare it? And
such a surprise.
Well, bearing in mind, I suppose, in this country, and unless at that time you were a rapid otaku or some kind of weeboo fanboy.
Where's the blue key?
You didn't really, like, JRPG as a thing, didn't have the wider following that it enjoyed, well, relatively wider.
Well, we didn't even get most of the games. And I remember that Chrono Trigger, I really wanted to play it, but I didn't have a modded SNES, and so kind of it wasn't until years later that I was finally able to do it.
Was that released in the States?
Yes, it was.
Oh, so you didn't learn Japanese?
No, God, no.
Something that I kind of still want to do, just because, not because for any sort of fanboy reasons, but because it's considered a difficult language to learn.
I did a brief course on it, and yeah, very much so. Especially when it's an evening course and they've got about 30 people in a room, and the teacher has really no interest in talking to any of the students. I can guarantee that is about the best way of not learning anything, in fact.
Yeah. Well,
Are you, Blue Key?
Yeah, I am also seeking the blue key.
Desperately seeking the blue key. That'd be fantastic onto OkCupid or something. What are you
desperately
looking for?
seeking blue key?
What are you looking for? I'm looking for someone who knows where the blue key is.
Do you know what? Back in the in the sort of the cheesy classified ad days, that would be the sort of thing that you'd see. And I'm not just singling out SFX for this, but like the SFX readers ads at the back, where people were seeking partners.
Desperately looking for somebody who likes Andromeda. No, not somebody else, just someone. I want to know they exist.
But there'd be things like, Willow looking for her Xander. And it's like, What? You want a platonic friend that's never going to have sex with you? Oh no, you're one of those shipping people, right? Yes,
that's the blue key. Okay.
Oh great, you found the blue key.
Yeah, it's sort of down a thing on a thing. So
now see where you're shooting about. This is a big, sprawling map.
It is. I think the worst ones are in episode 3. That places like Mount Erebus is just like, where the hell am I supposed to go?
Well, this was your idea.
I love Doom, and I'm not speaking a word against Doom. It's just occasionally there is that element of
What, you turn into a Wookiee?
Yes.
Yeah, that.
Okay, I'm about to collect the blue key. I wished this achievement to be registered.
Everybody,
I can't pick it up
listen up.
because it's on a ledge.
Richard Cobbett is about to collect the blue key.
Well,
Blue is the key that he is collecting.
I have got it, and people are now laughing because I didn't realise that it stays around after you collect it. I'm sorry.
No,
I've never actually played this co-op on the PC before. Played it once on Xbox with Tin
there you are.
formerly a
Where's the
PC
blue
game.
key then?
It's down this way.
Hold on, killing something. Where have you gone?
No rush. So Matt, have you ever read the Doom novels?
No.
Because I have.
Are they shit?
They are amazing. Basically, the first one is by far the best. Your blue key awaits her.
If I have the red key, which I don't.
Do I have to do everything for you?
Yes, you
there
do.
You go. I'll even wait here to open it when you get back in case it
Thank you,
shuts.
darling.
Come on. No, the Doom novels are absolutely amazing. Because, for a starter, how many do you think there are?
47.
Not quite, but there are 4. Now, bear in mind there were only 3 episodes of the original Doom. This, of course, is the Ultimate Doom, which tacked on a final episode that I cash consumed for people who just couldn't, get enough. And basically, the first half of the Doom novel is about what you'd expect it to be. It's about a space marine who's sort of trapped in a hell taken over.
Whoa! Don't go saying Space Marine. Games Workshop will have our bollocks.
He is a marine who is in space, and thank you. It's about kind of the sort of thing which you would expect it to be, in that he runs around, he sort of has the vaguely familiar levels. He sees the enemies, he shoots the enemies, he does a whole load of kind of going, what the hell's going on here? But here's the thing. After a while, the writers get bored, and they just start ripping the piss out of it. Which is that, for starters, he starts giving the enemies his own names. So in the books, they aren't called imps, they're called spinies. And they aren't cacodemons, they're pumpkins. And he sort of spends most of the time with this kind of... it's kind of like a film noir style in a monologue, if you're completely insane. Because the guy's name is Fly Taggart, and he keeps on referring to things by using phrases like, "This was looking bad for yours truly," and it's all throughout the whole story. It's like, yours truly did this, yours truly did that, yours truly this. And he spends most of it looking for this other space marine called Arlene. And if that name sounds familiar, and this is not funny, but it's kind of a diversion, that was the name of one of the Columbine shooters' guns, which was named after the character in the book. So, but he meets her by... This is where it gets funny again. He meets her when he goes to a teleporter, which is obviously the equivalent of... Well, actually, it's the level we're on now, I think. It's basically the teleporter at the end of this, spoiler warning. Except that in the book, the teleporters kind of leave you without clothes. So basically he ends up stark naked on Deimos, the second of the worlds, where he bumps into her exactly the same, and so they have this kind of incredibly awkward naked reunion, which is sort of played for laughs and kind of comedy. And they spend the rest of the book pretty much ripping the piss out of it. Are you coming up to fight the Barons of Hell, or am I going to...
Yes, I was just getting ammo.
Okay. That is a good idea to do. I'll take left, you take right.
Oh, okay. I don't remember this at all. So.
Well, there's like the 2 Portaloos here. There we go.
Well, that works.
Wussiest boss ever. But anyway, yeah, they spend the rest of the first book taking the piss out of the game and the monsters and kind of how stupid everything is. So that's quite amusing. But then it gets weirder. Because the second book, the first book, they actually end up doing the entire of Doom, and the second book is actually Doom 2, which also is Hell on Earth, when you go back and you find the demons have taken over. And this is where this is where it starts to get really weird. Because they get back to find that the entire world governments have joined the demons and sort of betrayed humanity, and the only people fighting a rebellion are the Mormons. I am not making this up. I defy you to look at the book. The Mormons are literally leading the fight against the demons. And so they end up sort of fighting alongside a whole new load of characters from the story. And this is, by the end of book 2, things have only just started to get strange. Because for starters, the demons in the books aren't actually demons. They're actually aliens who are quickly nicknamed Fred. They are the Fred from Fred World. Again, look this up. I am not kidding. And it turns out that they're involved in this other interstellar war with this other force who are nicknamed the Newbies. Okay. So it's like the Fred versus the Newbies, and there's another bunch as well. And I should probably pause. Are you able to load the next episode? Because I'm kind of just stuck on the...
I'm wondering about that, because it's just showing me credits. Okay, resuming the timer there for a little jump cut, so we had to figure out how to load the next level, which we assumed would segue automatically. No,
never assume. It makes an ass out of you, and I'm just sitting here mocking you. Where was I? The Doom novels. So I said it basically, you get to the third book, and
oh dear,
I've completely forgotten. Have you guys killed me?
I died.
Well, it was going to happen sooner or later. But yeah, you get to the third book, and basically it becomes this whole Old Man's War style space epic, where the newbies turn out to be these people who evolve. I think it's the newbies evolve themselves incredibly fast in order to sort of take care of problems, and the Freds are sort of doing their own thing, and Fly and Arlene end up basically in the Matrix. But what's really fantastic is that you get to find out what the purpose of the war is. And you find this out in a book written by one of the new characters in the story, and it's got a name something like "The History of the Galaxy's Most Stupidest War." And it turns out the entire thing is about. It turns out the entire thing is about literary criticism. And you've got one side which basically think of themselves as deconstructionists, and you get the other side who are hyper realists, and they're fighting. And Earth is just like one pawn in this epic battle which has gone on for literally millennia, which Fly and Arlene survive because they basically managed to outlast everybody in the galaxy, basically out-evolved them. And so they kind of end up, like I said, just living in a recreation of Doom, in a Matrix, in an alien system, while the Mormons continue the good fight. It's a very weird series.
What the actual fuck?
And the thing is, it's not. But I mean, it's Brad Lindenmaker and Daffodab Hugh, and I've read things by Daffodab Hugh that weren't that weird. He actually wrote one of my favourite DS9 books, Fallen Heroes, from back when I was also reading those books, and it's just
We're
like
lost again, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. It's sort of what happens when you give a sci-fi author a license and then basically never ever check on them. And it's like, clearly nobody cared, and so they were just kind of, I remember what we did wrong, yeah. It's like, they started writing this thing, and they just sort of never seemed to stop, and after a while, just content in the fact that nobody was paying attention anyway, so what the hell?
Crikey.
I do love the
Whoa!
Khaki
Khaki demon!
I do love the Khaki demons. It's such a weird idea, and by that I of course mean a very weird steal from a Dungeons and Dragons monster manual. But still, quite cool.
Yes. So back to what I was looking forward to. So yes, very much looking forward to Fallout 4 as you can. I mean, you can get a Pip-Boy, although they have sold out.
They have sold out,
but. I may have pre-ordered it. I don't actually have any money, but hopefully,
by the time they take it out of your account,
I will do. Well, it was either that or not get a Pip-Boy. I will sell a kidney.
Patreon.com/buy Matt a Pip-Boy.
Yes, or donations.
That'll be fantastic. Milestones. Number 1, I will get a Pip-Boy. Number 2, I will take a photograph of myself wearing the Pip-Boy.
Number 3, I'll take a photograph of myself wearing a Pip-Boy naked.
And you've just lost all of your followers.
Do you know what? There's people out there that would love a slice of hot dildo. Unfortunately, they're not allowed out without supervision.
Exactly, but they are quite looking forward to their nurse giving them a sponge bath. And
sponge bath, square pants.
And their pills come in just so many wonderful colours.
But if they take the blue pill...
So here's the thing here's a Doom fact I was trying to think about. Do you remember when the idea of a warehouse wasn't intrinsically shit?
A warehouse in general, what, like this?
Yeah. It's like when it was like kind of, a warehouse. That's an interesting concept for a level, rather than oh god, it was late on Friday and.
As opposed to turning into a small semi-detached bungalow at the full moon. I'm sorry. I'm not actually. I'm not even sorry. I'm a little sorry. Please
should be.
Go. Please don't go, listeners.
You should feel bad.
Uh-oh. Lots of things trying to kill my face. So, looking forward to that. I would like to get my hands on a copy of Splatoon, although my interest in that is waned since finding out it's mostly multiplayer, which I didn't.
Pretty much all multiplayer.
Which I didn't realise. Apparently, there is a single-player mode.
There is, but Unreal Tournament had a single-player mode.
Yeah, I remember playing. The bots weren't so bad.
They were good for the time.
They were. I liked the bots in Quake 3 as well.
I like the way they would try and sort of simulate trash talking.
Yes. Do you know, I remember playing Quake, the original Quake multiplayer, at college. I did a BTEC National Diploma, and it became...
bugger. 2 health. That's not good.
Okay, there's a slimy thing there, so we're just going to burn, but I presume there's going to be health at the end of it, so I'm just going to run.
There isn't actually any health, there's only a thing. Radiation suit.
Which you've taken.
Yeah, but all the items stay after you grab them.
No, not that one.
Oh, in that case, no, you're probably screwed.
Yeah. Oh, 11% health. Cracking.
Again, this is one of the levels I just don't remember at all, so...
Well, these levels I can't remember because, I'm bleeding from my eye sockets again. That's chemical burns for you. The goggles, they do nothing. So, there. Yeah, so I was looking forward to Splatoon, but yeah, A, multiplayer only. That's annoying as hell. And B, because, fuck people.
I do quite like the multiplayer games where people aren't allowed to ruin your game in most ways. It's what I absolutely adore about Hearthstone, that the worst people can do is say, sorry, in a slightly sarcastic way.
And then you just mute them, so you can't hear them anyway.
Exactly. Hearthstone is great.
Any sign of that pesky blue key?
There is not, which is why I'm currently playing from the map rather than the full screen ones, to try and see where I haven't been.
Where haven't you been, sir? Yes.
It's this incredibly exciting warehouse. Which, as Old Man
If I find out it's in a box and I've just got to smash boxes...
Oh, that's totally the wrong generation.
Yeah, this is totally true. We're lucky we can see over things. Oh no, a 3-foot-high wall! What's up? Oh, hello.
I heard the sound of things dying. Does that mean you found someone new?
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking the multiplayer map respawns things.
I don't think it respawns enemies. So there'd be a lot more of them if it did.
Well, I think if you linger about or something, because I've had this feeling for a while now.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but three imps popped up. I shot them. There was nothing else of interest nearby. The blue key's going to be hidden in the warehouse somewhere, isn't it?
Well, I think I've been more or less everywhere now.
No, wait. I've got an idea. We take a shotgun shell and we sprinkle the contents in the air and magically follow it to the blue key, whilst absolutely nothing else made of metal whatsoever will be attracted to it.
That sounds like a really awful thing in a script that I'm glad isn't of a movie that anybody made.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how embarrassing would that be?
Oh, God.
Like, especially if it was, say, some once great writer and one once great director, somebody that people have come to expect enjoyable family movies.
Can I check, who's the once great writer?
I don't know.
Because I would not put Lucas up there with... I mean, hypothetically, I would not put George Lucas up there as a great writer. I'd say some great visions. And
no, that is an absolutely fair point. Lucas is actually a fairly piss poor.
I mean, everything he writes for people... I think it was Ford who sort of says, like, you can write this shit, George, but you can't say it.
Has Ford ever liked a director?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure his entire career is to see how grumpy you can be and yet still get work.
Yeah, well, he seems to get work because he's Harrison Ford.
In fairness, that's a thing I can't do, so...
Who is that? I can hear something growling nearby, so there's obviously something we haven't killed somewhere.
Where are you, yellow key?
I thought we needed the blue key.
Maybe, but there's a yellow door kind of up top, so I'd imagine we'd go to that one first, and then it would be the yellow after that.
This is rubbish.
Yeah. Time to type IDKFA.
Oh yeah, I've found the yellow door now. We've obviously missed something somewhere. Time to teleport somewhere or something.
Well, while we continue searching this map futilely.
Well, again, the point is the conversation of the map, or so I thought. No, I mean, I knew. Right, here's where I think Hollywood, or here was the biggest indicator that Lucas was just full of crap. Or just sort of a terrible whatever.
I'm going to put it down to when he first wrote the words, what was it? This is the story of Mace Windu, Jedi Benshu, and Padawan of whatchamacallit.
Well, there could be that. No. I don't know if you do know, because it kind of went with a whimper. He did a remake of the Tuskegee Airmen.
No.
Or rather, well, I say a remake. I mean, there was a film called the Tuskegee Airmen released in the sort of mid-90s. But, basically the Black Air Force during World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen.
I found where we were missing.
Oh, yeah?
I think anyway.
Let me hit the map and find out where you are. I have no idea, because I'm not near
It's back in the green rooms. Kind of like the old opposite of Christian Grey's place. There was a button next to one of the doors to open it. As I'm sure commenters will have noticed like an hour ago.
Yes, I'm waiting for the comments.
This is terrible. Why haven't you memorised all of the levels of Doom?
Shut up, that's why. I'm not going to find my way back to you. I'm going to keep looking for where you've... Oh... I'm sorry anyone watching this is finding the visuals dull, but it is supposed to be moving wallpaper, and at this stage, that is literally what it has become.
Oh, crap.
Oh, hang on. When you say the green rooms, do you mean the rooms with green slime on the walls?
Yeah, that's the ones. If you run down
to
the...
But they're grey.
Yeah, but if you run down to the end of it, then you can kind of walk up some stairs, and there's some things. And I found the blue key.
Good for you.
I am the keymaster, and I don't want to know who you are.
Well, shut up and take your clothes off. Let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
In retrospect, Ghostbusters is a very, very dodgy movie.
Oh, tell me that.
I hadn't realised until I rewatched it a few years ago. It's like kind of,
What, like Venkman just happened to have enough tranquilizer to knock out a horse just on him. I found the green rooms.
Yep, and if you just walk up the thing and then the keys cut around there.
Up the thing.
Yes.
I found a red key.
Yeah, he's got the horse tranquilizer, but it's also just kind of the lines, like when he's talking to the possessed Dana and she's outright sort of saying things like, "Yeah, I want you inside me," and it's like, I remember this being a kids' movie. I was wrong.
Well, like Venkman's obsession with Dana is
boom.
Oh well, never mind. I just found the yellow key just as you did that. Yeah, no, Venkman's obsession with Dana is really rapey. Like, she has no interest in him whatsoever and tells him that on several occasions. And he cons his way into her house.
I think my favourite thing about the movie is they literally go from Venkman waving just a bit of plastic crap around and sort of totally scamming her, to wandering around with the proton packs. It's like, that is a hell of a jump.
Well, yeah, quite.
So you're looking forward to the new one next year?
Yes, because with an all-female cast, I'm hoping it's going to be very less rapey. No, this is the thing, you see, Ghostbusters, when was it released? 84. I would have seen it on television, within a couple of years of that.
Probably, if you're lucky, yeah.
Yeah, age 6 or 7, right? So we'll say, for the sake of argument,
I remember going
Oh, everything's a bit fleshy.
I remember going to see the second one in the cinema. It's kind of one of my earlier cinema
Yeah,
experiences.
me too. I remember my dad taking me to see it. And it was a bit rubbish.
At the time, it was amazing. In retrospect, it's pretty awful.
I think the experience of going to see it in the cinema was amazing. I don't think the film itself...
Well, I think you've got to be a bit older to realise that you're watching exactly the same film as the first one, and you're not done as well.
Yeah, the original movie as done by...
As done by people who really don't want to be making another one.
Well, there is that.
Well, it's just like everything about
I was going to say Uwe Boll, but...
Oh, no, let's not get personal. but I think it's fairly obvious in retrospect that it is just a cash-in movie. Which is weird, because even though it has some major problems, the real Ghostbusters was awesome.
Yes.
You know, for its era of cartoons, obviously, it went sort of a bit downhill later on. But you know, as like a spin-off cartoon, which was there to sell toys, it was a pretty good show.
Well, yeah, that'll be due to writers like J.M. Straczynski.
I mean, can I counter that with 5 words: Jace and the Wheeled Warriors?
Well, no, you know, because I had when he guested on the Babylon project, and Gillian and I were sort of we'd asked our listeners to submit questions, you know, as you do, and you know they embraced the opportunity with both hands, which was awesome. But one of our close friends, in fact, unaware of Joe's opinion of Jason the Wheeled Warriors in retrospect, you know, was just somebody that was like, oh, how is it going to end and blah blah blah, and we were like, we can't ask him this because I know he hates it with a passion. But we did kind of...
I should probably clarify, I wasn't saying that JMS is a bad writer because of Jason the Wheeled Warriors. I just was saying that his presence on a TV show wasn't necessarily oh well, that means it's going to be great. I mean, given he also wrote for He-Man, I think. Yeah, so
he wrote the odd episode of He-Man, and there was a lot of stuff actually. He was in a stable of writers that did that. But he actually, that's the funny thing, like, we were sort of sitting there really quite worried, like, we can't ask him about this, but at the same time, you know, somebody sent us this question, and they, what are we going to do? And we kind of tried to step around it. And there was that, and there was Jake and the Fat Man. And it's like, oh god, we can't. But he brought these things up, which was great. And he brought it up with a due sense of sort of self-deprecating humour. At which point, we hadn't even had the chance to sort of agonise over the question. Like I say, he kind of brought it up, and it was fine.
It sounds like it's almost like it's a trap. It's like he brings up, you know, Jason the Wheeled Warriors, he brings up, you know, whatever. And then he'll say, so how about that rival with SFX? And then suddenly... Bzzz.
Oh dear. Yes. Well, I don't know. Aren't you going to lose some friends by even mentioning that? It is somewhat a taboo, isn't it, around SFX Towers?
I have never spoken to anyone about SFX about it, but I'm just amused by it. That and the fact that they are still doing their dodgy covers to try and make it say sex. And it's like kind of. I think by now they might be doing it deliberately, but I'm not positive.
Oh, who's the art editor now? It used to be Rianne, didn't it?
I have no idea.
She's not doing it anymore. She's freelancing.
Yeah, I used to freelance for SFX, but haven't been in it for many a year now.
I did a couple of freelance pieces for them back in the day.
Did some book reviews, but I was finding that they were sort of taking to it was always things like, you know, book 2 of the bloody blah, and usually I would just end up getting very, very cross. With writers who would be done in like a third of the space if they just assume that we all know what elves are. And it's like, you know, I don't, we don't need like the page upon pages of kind of, you know, they live in the village and the forest and they are environmentally conscious. They have like we know that they're elves. It's like, yeah, we got this.
Well, there's all this cool stuff and I can't get to it. There'll be a switch somewhere. You mark my words.
Oh.
Mind you, there was a teleport.
Go away, Baron of Hell. One of the nice little visual touches in Doom is the way that you generally get a picture of a Baron of Hell before they appear, just that little bit of, you know, foreshadowing.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I just killed one. There's like a sort of giant thing with his face on it. It's
Oh, well, that's kind of... Oh, that's a
Yeah,
fire.
like I said, there's a lot of really cool design in Doom, which doesn't.
No, I mean, getting back to the JMS SFX thing, I think to this day his emails say, these words may be reproduced by anyone except SFX. It's like, oh, okay. Thing is, in my experience with the man, he is the loveliest, most generous guy. Really has always got a lot of time for his fans, and he still publicly lists his email address. Like, if you want to email him and ask him a question, it might take him 6 months to get back to you, but he will get back to you.
I mean, in fairness, so will Harlan Ellison, who once he's called his lawyers.
Uh-oh, khaki demon.
That's a very rude thing to say about Mr. Ellison. There'll be a letter in the post.
Is he still alive?
Ellison, hell yeah.
Oh, the cacodemon makes a really sad noise when it dies.
It does, it's almost disappointed.
Like a cross between a deflating balloon and a disappointed puppy. Oh, itchy no. Whoa, 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 whoa! Oh, that was a descending roof trap. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, of course, I've got to start again now.
Yeah,
well, fuck you.
Yeah, I can't remember if Doom pioneered them, but it was certainly about the first time I saw them. Maybe Ultima Underworld had them first, but I don't remember.
Or Resident fucking Evil. No, that was after this post.
Oh, that was long after. I mean, Doom was 93.
I know, but the whole fucking Jill sandwich bullshit.
Oh, Jill Sandwich, yeah, that was Resident. No, I remember getting Doom because I got it on a cover disc on a magazine called PC Review, and it's about.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't a great mag, but it was.
But it gave you Doom on a cover disc.
It was one of the ones which I bought regularly at the time, along with Zone and Gamer, and yeah, just sitting down to play it that first time. So obviously, everyone knew what Doom was. And it was that era where, unless you were really, really lucky, you just didn't have access to, internet things. You were basically completely reliant on either magazine cover discs, which is why everybody played Hugo's House of Sodding Horrors, or on shareware libraries, which would charge you like sort of £3 a disc for the demo versions of these games. And so obviously lots of people wouldn't actually register shareware. They would just spend their money on more... Killy. They wouldn't spend their money on full shareware games. They just go and get more demos. You get basically a whole game worth in the shareware version.
An episode at least.
Yeah, and sort of the episodes. I mean, if you look at the size of the original Doom, I mean, I've played that so many times. Of course, the mad rush to try and find someone at your school who had the full. I mean, to persuade your parents to go and register the full version of the game, like of course we all did.
Yeah, you had to do it by post.
Oh yeah, you had to send it off. And they did kind of take the piss sometimes. I mean, Doom wasn't too bad because it was 3 episodes and they're really, really good. I don't think there's a particularly bad level amongst them. And certainly this one with stuff like Military Base being really inventive. But then you had like Wolfenstein 3D, and there were 6 episodes of it. And it's like I think probably 6 episodes is pushing it a bit for Wolf 3D. Especially with Spear of Destiny released almost immediately afterwards.
Well, yeah, quite. Yeah, shareware back in the day. Hey, speaking of shareware, and being a fellow aficionado of demo discs, this is something that probably should be put in the tip... Oh, that's the buzzer going off, so I'll just finish this question.
Well, finish the question.
Yeah, I've started, so I'll finish. This may be better off in the tip of my joystick on Reddit, but... Did you ever play... There was a shareware game, and it was on a PC Gamer cover disc, and as far as I remember, it was the first CD cover disc I'd ever bought, because I'd finally got a CD-ROM drive. And I've been looking... And, it was back in the days when in my sort of mid-teens, where I would trawl through every last thing on that disc.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, same here.
And I'd have a blast doing it, and you'd find all sorts of... And these days, you're just spoiled for choice, aren't you? The internet, you can download any demo anywhere.
Well, I remember when there was the discs which would do stuff like the intro of King's Quest 6, and it's like that was a big deal, because, it wasn't playable, but it was, video, it was 3D, it was like, look at what we can put on this disc.
Yes, exactly. So this game, it was an isometric perspective, bitmap graphics. It wasn't 3D, and you played like a little hovering spaceship type thing, and you sort of flew about the map. I think by clicking or WSAD keys, but I could be wrong on that point. It was before I had a game controller anyway that would be PC compatible. So. But you would shoot there'd be other enemy ships. You'd shoot them, and okay, so that's where I am here. You'd shoot them and you'd take damage yourself, and then you could go somewhere and upgrade and repair your ship, and then go back in the field. When you got, and the thing I remember most distinctly, because I thought it was the coolest little touch, was the more damage you took, the more your ship started smoking and spluttering. I don't know if you remember that.
What was it? What was the sort of setting?
I remember it being like a vague, different levels with different planets or different areas. There was a vaguely foresty planet, I remember.
Because this is sounding a lot like Firefight.
Okay. I don't remember the name of it. This is the thing.
I think Firefight. I think Firefight was like that. Because there was a game a few years earlier called Zone 66, and there were a couple of games which were a bit like that. Zone 66 was sort of top down. If people want to check it out, it has the funniest intro ever, because it's trying so hard to be touching, and it is so hammy you could make a sandwich out of it. I highly recommend checking it out.
Right.
But there was like a 3D rendered version which was kind of similar, called Fire, which had another name before then, which I'm kind of blanking on.
Okay, well, I'll give that
maybe.
I just wondered. Well, that's actually the end of our 60 minutes, so I'm going to leave that there. Thanks ever to Mr. Rich for... I'm going to pause this. There we go.
Pause.
Thanks ever to Mr. Cobbett for joining me for this rambling.
Why, thank you.
And go ahead, pimp your stuff. Your beautiful face will, of course, be at the end of this episode, as always. But
I'll have to go get out of storage.
Pimping on camera.
Well, hello. Why not come visit my website at richardcobbett.com. I'm also at YouTube under Probably Richard, where I post a whole load of very poorly made videos, quite often about retro adventure games and things like that. The most recent ones, take a look at the Les Manley series. If you've never heard of him, well done. He was basically a 2-bit Leisure Suit Larry ripoff, and I do not use those words lightly. They are very, very chaotic, very weird, and very, very poor, yet hopefully funny games. And of course, you can also, if you like what I do elsewhere, you can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/probablyrichards. It's probably because I like an element of plausible deniability. Back to you, Matt.
Well, thanks, Bob. Well, the Packers today scored 20 points in the NFL Bowl nipples thing, and okay. Of course, I will do my usual pimping for you guys to check out geekplanetonline.com, our parent site that makes all of these videos possible, and you can find the best in podcasts and written content like reviews and features over there at geekplanetonline.com, and we slap new stuff up every single day of the week. You could also check out the One More Go podcast if you're so inclined. That's a little bit of gaming joy for your ears. That's me again, and also my good friend Kim Hallam, and we talk about a variety of gaming subjects, but not in a random haphazard way like what we do here, but in a more specific targeted way. We do sort of dedicate episodes to various gaming subjects. We've just done an E3 special, which is sadly Kim Light, because she would have kept control over everybody and not taken everybody's shit. And I got run over roughshod like a substitute teacher. But it was a fun chat. The first 2 parts are already up because it ended up being a lengthy show. And the next part will be going up on, today, as you're seeing this on the Monday. It should be going up today. So check that out. And that's out, generally that's out every 2 weeks. And yes, we have a Patreon as well. If you like these videos that we do and you like our podcast, you like the work that Geek Planet Online does, please consider supporting our Patreon. You can find that at patreon.com/Geek Planet Online. And, you know, every quid chipped in helps. It honestly does. We are going to be providing some Patreon exclusive content in the very near future. We're currently working on a sort of magazine style podcast. So that's up. There is a video that I put up as a thank you that's Patreon exclusive, so you can go and have a nose at that if you so wish. But yes, hopefully by the end of this month we should have our first episode of the new podcast up just for you guys. So that's about it. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next video, that is, this is One More Go, reminding you that games are for everyone, so spread the love. See you, bye.